Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Gucci gang. Oh.
That's it right now, T-Now.
Lil Pump. Yeah. Gucci gang. Oh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
big head on the beat.
Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang. Spread their racks on new chain. Yeah. My love dude. Ooh. I forgot name. Yeah. I can't buy me no wetter rain. Ooh. Rather go and buy ball mains.
Welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show here. Forgive me for this ratchet music that my sound operator has put on today. But hey, my kids, they're rocking in the next room. I'm sure enjoying this one. Thanks for listening to the Wayne Bradley Show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Get that stuff off my ear. Oh my goodness. I argue with my daughter about not playing this song, and then what does Jawan go do? Throw it on the Wayne Bradley Show. I know my daughter's over there turned up on the other side of this wall. So, folks, it's been an interesting day today. You know, I am not 100% surprised, but yes, I'm a little disappointed. Jeff Sessions, the one person in the Donald Trump cabinet that I was a little bit concerned about. You know, I had concerns with him from his positions on asset forfeiture, and now the other issue was medical marijuana. He has now reversed some of the, and I'll just say this, he's reversed some of the memos that President Obama had put in place that essentially kept the federal government out of the business of each state in regards to how they're dealing with medical marijuana, and now in some states the commercial recreational legalization of marijuana. Michigan is probably next in 2018. It's going to be on the ballot, and Jeff Sessions has decided to kind of go back to the future here. He wants to take it back. He wants to go to the essentially to the point where he's going to give resources, which I think is a bad idea. One. Resources that we really don't have to go after the medical marijuana industry, an industry that's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and also an industry where you have to protect the patients. You know, now some people in certain states and people look at it different ways, but the bottom line is this. I guess now it's been almost 80 years ago, people fought and people got killed and people went to jail for alcohol. Same thing. This is just a prohibition for marijuana. And I figure in the next 20 years, 25 years, there will be kids that will look back and be like, wow, people used to get arrested and fight over marijuana. That's kind of like we're at the cusp of the prohibition era of marijuana, because a lot of states now with the medical marijuana law have made it a gray area. And I think that's where some of these folks, you know, you have attorney generals in different states and you have people that are against this because of the gray area. Now, me personally, I think that after 2018 in Michigan, it's not going to be an issue because, people are going to vote to legalize marijuana here in the state of Michigan. And so Jeff Sessions decides to wind back the clock a little bit today by getting rid of some of the Obama regulations. And let's be clear here. These policies is what let medical and legal pot flourish. And these are some multi-billion-dollar industries. More tax revenue. California just went legal. I believe it was on Monday or Tuesday. And the tax revenue, I saw some of the tax bills that these folks are going to pay. 30% of their revenue is going to go towards California taxes and fees. So a lot of states have just said, to heck with it at this point. Why fight it and take the revenue? That's how the government works. They don't care about our health, folks. I mean, let's just be clear here. Marijuana is not legal. It has nothing to do with our health at this point, because if that was the case, cigarettes wouldn't be legal. Make a good point at alcohol. People die from alcohol poisoning. People beat up their spouses after drinking too much. But yet it's legal because, quite frankly, the government can tax it. You can't make liquor everywhere. And the biggest problem has always been with marijuana is that you can grow it in your basement or in your backyard, and anything that the government can't get their hands on, they deem illegal. That's the same. It goes, and again, I don't want to get folks, I know there's a lot of conservatives that might have a certain opinion about that, but in terms of libertarians and people's individual decision-making processes, it's going to be interesting. I don't think that this helps the Republican Party. It, again, comes off as something that's some old guy that's still living in the 1980s, and this is your brain on drugs. He's still fighting he's fighting against the devil's lettuce. That's what he looks at it. He's from down south, these southern states, and these old guys still have some very archaic ways on how they look at this. And so I don't think this is going to help. You have senators already. Cory Gardner out of Colorado, a Republican. Marco Rubio out of Florida. These are states that have Colorado's totally legal, and Florida has medical marijuana. I'm sure they have lobbyists that are in contact with those Republican senators as we speak, because Jeff Sessions, in essence, he broke a promise. He said that he was not going to make this a priority, and he did it, again, 3 days after California's legalization went into effect. So Cory Gardner, who represents Colorado, said the changes contradict a pledge that Sessions had made to him before being confirmed as Attorney General. I think a couple of you would have had a couple more no votes if they knew that this is the way he's going to go. And so we'll see. And they called it, and then you had another Republican senator who called the announcement disruptive and regrettable. So I think that you're going to have, and this is where I will continue to say Democrats who are so not interested in having progress for America right now, they're quiet. They're not doing anything. They could be also asserting themselves in this, and they're going to make Republicans have to fix essentially, which is our own problem, Jeff Sessions. I get it, but we need all of our politicians to start getting to work in D.C. Democrats are sitting around trying to wait till 2018. They're basically trying to see how far is this going to go with the Republican Party. They don't want any success for Donald Trump. I've never seen so many Democrats so mad about a tax cut. Anything that's good for this country right now, if Donald Trump signatures it or authorizes it, Democrats are going to fight against it. And I think that's really, really unfortunate. Now, I know there's some Dems that would make the argument that President Obama felt some of the same pressure from Republicans. But I remind you, President Obama had the first 2 years of a Congress that was all Democrats, majority Democrats, and so was the Senate. He only passed one bill because he staked his whole legacy on that. And now you watch Donald Trump, piece by piece, tearing to piece that legacy. The mandate is no longer, the mandate is no longer legitimate, right? And that is what Obamacare relied on, was the mandate that you would force young people to buy insurance. Maybe they didn't need it or didn't want it, but you would force everyone to be on the rolls to lessen the expense and cover the cost of the older people and the people that had not had insurance and pre-existing conditions. So Obama put a lot of his legacy based on that. But one of his other things that he did do was sign off on these executive orders and these memos that pretty much said that they wouldn't use federal resources. They wouldn't use resources from the DEA and the Justice Department to go after cultivators, growers, patients in states that allowed medical marijuana. And so now Jeff Sessions, who, again, he's got all kind of issues on this. I really don't know what the thinking behind this is. Now, there is a positive way of thinking about this is it's going to force congressional leaders in the Senate to actually put together legislation because you're just not going to be able to arrest this. I mean, the train has already left. It's already left the station. Medical marijuana and pretty much legalization is on the horizon. And so you got these guys like Jeff Sessions that are going to fight it, I guess, to the very end. They want to, stake their claim and saying they did what they had to do. But at this point, I it's a free market. It's a free market issue. And I don't understand when Republicans, for the most part, are free market about everything else, but on things they don't like, they want the government. They want big government to help them out. And this is something that, whether it's been with gay marriage, you want the government to get involved there and make it illegal. I never, that's just not, that wasn't feasible. And Republicans and conservatives, we got to get this together. We've got to stop deciding, kind of picking and choosing when we want big government to be involved in our lives. Either we want government in our lives like that or we don't. That's my position on that. You can't pick and choose. You can't say state rights on this issue, but not state rights on this. And I don't understand that. Jeff Sessions, I guarantee you, is one of those guys during the fight of segregation was probably saying, hey, states' rights. We have a right to do whatever we want. But now states like California and Washington and Colorado have made their decisions, and now you want big government, you want the federal government to come in and cover for your belief system. Not at the will of the people, not what the people of Colorado or California wanted, but at the will of what the federal government wants. And I'm confused. I'm confused as a conservative, as a limited government kind of guy. Why are we spending any more federal resources to fight something that states are welcoming with open arms? That's just it. I don't understand. Help me understand, folks. Give me a call, 313-209-9000. Do you agree with Senator Jeff Sessions? Well, I shouldn't call him Senator anymore. The Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, in his position? Do you actually think that this is going to go through? Because, again, now you have Republicans in states where this is legal and medical, at the least medical marijuana. And, again, the people that fight it, the people that fight medical marijuana, for example, are big pharma. They don't want any competition. They'd rather you be addicted to their pain pills and the drugs that they make, man-made drugs. Heaven forbid that they don't want people coming up with their own cures or natural cures. And I'm confused. I just don't understand why the government has to get involved. Where is our stake in that other than big pharma lobbying against it? Private prisons lobbying against it because they need more people to fill those jails. And heaven forbid you take a law that has been locking up, in particular, black and brown people with low, means to fight that. Because if you don't have a good lawyer, this is nothing but a slap on the wrist. You have a bad lawyer, or no lawyer at all, it ends up being an impediment for you to get a job down the road, messes up your record. And so it's going to be an interesting battle here. I think that, like I said, those are the things that a lot more of our constitutionally conscious, at least, conservatives were mindful of with Jeff Sessions. Because, again, it's not just with the medical marijuana. It's with the acid forfeiture. And, and I'm sure he's not on Donald Trump's high list right now for accusing himself of Russia. So does this, again, put Jeff Sessions in the crossfires to getting fired himself? I don't know. Donald Trump said that this was going to be a states' right issue, and he wasn't going to get involved in it. So is this Jeff Sessions acting on his own? Is he trying to set his own agenda as the Attorney General? I don't know. Let's go to JJ, who's on the line. JJ, thanks for calling in.
Hey, Wayne.
How you doing, JJ?
Where you going with that blunt in your hand? Hey, we should organize a 1,000,000-man march, man. Just do a bong march, walk all around the Capitol. All right, just be toking and smoking.
You talking about it? You talking about up in D.C., right? Because and that's the irony. In D.C., it's legal anyway. That's another. I mean, if you really want to take the irony of that, in D.C., it's about to be legal. I know medical marijuana there is also permitted. So I don't get it.
I think that'd be a good idea, man. Get some of them politicians, smoking the peace pipe up there. You know what I'm saying? Bring in some pizzas, just all get high. And
to me, I just, and how we can joke about it. I don't get why a guy is so serious about this. Even now, here it is in 2018.
So you know what it is? I watched a program the other day, and they were talking about in Michigan, Medicaid. They saved $15 million. I think it was 14 or 15. $15 million just in Michigan for prescriptions.
There you go. Okay.
Right.
There you
right.
go.
And that's just in Michigan. And I think what he's just doing that to maybe put people in check in the states where it's recreational use is okay.
Mm-hmm.
So people on the federal level, you don't start growing it in your basement.
Well, that's
what
that's always been the concern, and I tell that's what I was saying earlier, JJ. That the main reason that this is illegal is because you can grow it in your basement, you can grow it in your backyard.
Right.
So tobacco, which kills you, cigarettes kill you, which you can go buy anywhere, right. But you can only grow tobacco in certain climates in certain states, and so the government can keep an eye on that. They know it's only so much coming in, and so much going out, and
Back in the 20s and 30s, cannabis oil, Park Davis, which Warren Lambert, I don't even know if they're in business anymore, manufactured cannabis oil. They started, I think it was 1934, the government started a drug czar.
Yep.
Okay? And they just wanted some money, and they called it wacky tobacco. And the government was like, okay, and if it was local weed, the Mexicans were going to come and rape your women and kill your children.
Same. I've heard all those stories, man. They scared people, and
right.
and like I said, at this point now, I think that people are more educated on it. But I don't understand as taxpayers and as when we look at all the other things that we could be working on. And this is a tax revenue stream now at this point. This is a revenue stream that we didn't have before.
Right. But I know guys that got some jing and don't want to get involved because it's still federally illegal. They ain't going to put up, a couple $100,000, and then the feds come in and shut you down.
Yep, that's a big concern with a lot of people.
It's all about the pharmaceutical money, man. I think that's what it is. The donors to them guys. Sessions had to say something just to keep them happy.
Well, that's unfortunate if that's what Jeff Sessions is doing. If that's the game he's playing, like I said, he's already on the wrong side of Donald Trump right now. So I don't know if Donald Trump was A-okay with this, or is this again because Trump, he's made it clear he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't care, but he thinks this should be a states' rights issue. And I'm just, like I said, I'm not shocked, but disappointed that Jeff Sessions decided that he wants to inflict big government on an issue he just doesn't happen to agree with, JJ.
Yeah, they ain't got the juice to do it anyways, man. I won't worry about it.
They don't have the resources. They're way outmanned at this point, and again, it would just be a frivolous waste of tax dollars to continue pursuing these kind of things. So we're gonna keep an eye on it, JJ. Thanks for calling in, man. All right, we're gonna go to Lathan. Lathan, you're on the line.
Good afternoon, everybody. Here's my take on this. Now, personally, I don't believe in it. I grew up in Romulus, used to party up in Ypsilanti and Ann Arbor, where it was a $10 fine if you got busted with it. I wasn't involved in that. But the problem that I have is, like a while back here, we went to a restaurant, me and my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So two young couples came in with their 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids. And I had to ask the restaurant manager to move us because they reeked so much of marijuana.
Uh-huh.
Now, evidently they had smoked it on the way to the restaurant, and these little kids were in the car. Now, I'm driving down the street today, and it's, 11 degrees out here,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going down the road about 40 miles an hour. And I'm behind a car where I had to shut off my heater because them driving down the road, smoking their marijuana, went into my car. Now, I have an aunt.
Mm-hmm.
She's 62 years old, she's 78 years old, rather. She uses this hemp oil, which comes from the hemp plant.
Right.
She buys it at the health food store, and she rubs it on her joints. It helps her. You understand what I'm saying? I have another friend. He's on dialysis and some other stuff, and the medicine that he takes messes with him. But he can smoke him a joint, and it can relieve his pain.
Right.
And if you live in federal subsidized housing,
mm-hmm.
and if you're smoking marijuana, and I told the guy, I said, well, they'll get them put out within a little while. She says, and this is a lady from the USDA,
mm-hmm.
she says they would have to have a marijuana license and a a letter from a psychiatrist. Now, a while back here, there was a guy who had 40 acres. I don't remember what state it was in, but he had 40 acres of marijuana plants.
Okay.
The police department come in, took it, and burned it all. He sued them and won in court.
He should have, right?
He was growing. This was before all the new stuff. He sued them and won in court because he was growing the marijuana for the federal government. He had contract for the last 20 years with the federal government because they used that to strengthen the rope for the ships.
Right. Well,
so I haven't been to hear like that.
Well, listen, I appreciate the fact that you're not really for, it doesn't sound like you're a big fan of the recreational marijuana, because a guy, like you said, walking in restaurants, but you see the clear medical advantages of it as well. So I think that's the other balance that some people have to figure out is, like I said, now we have states where it's legal. So, I mean, it's kind of like even past the medical issue at this point. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
If I may again, I'm in Flint, Michigan.
Okay.
General Motors gave out applications to people, people who worked in General Motors, give to sons, daughters, whatever. They couldn't get any people. They took them and went to Saginaw and passed out applications of family members. They couldn't get any employment because all the folks came back dirty.
Yeah, well, I think that this is my thing with that. I think that if you're not operating machinery or anything like that, that is just at this point now, can you really look at it? If you drug tested your employees at the plant, let's just say at the plant, for example, if you drug tested them now and they've been working there 2 or 3 years, a lot of them wouldn't pass a drug test. And so I just think it's messed up that, I understand why they had to do that. But the reality is that in particular with marijuana or alcohol for that matter, if you tested most of your plant workers, a lot of them wouldn't pass that test either after they're in. So it shows bad discipline.
Level.
Yeah, it shows bad discipline that they can't get clean to get the job. But the reality is a lot of these folks, even if you went to their current employees, they couldn't pass that drug test. So I think that it's a catch-22. If you're not operating heavy machinery, like there are people that work as librarians now. If you work in customer service, they got you taking a drug test.
Yeah.
What difference does it really make, at that point? So I think it's just all a matter of the job. If you're driving a crane or you operating heavy machinery, yeah, I might want to know that. But other than that, I think that this, again, it's become more of an impediment for people to get a job than it is to, so maybe if they declassify it, get it off of Schedule 1, a lot of that could change.
Yeah, and one other thing. Now, the people that have grow shops and stores they sell at, they cannot take their money and put it into the bank, which means they're not business educated. And see, what they got Al Capone on, they didn't get him on no murders.
Tax
they
evasion.
Got him on tax evasion.
Yep.
All these people got to do is file miscellaneous income and pay the federal government, and they'll get their money.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep, I agree.
This ain't rocket science, All right, you be blessed.
Thanks a lot, Lathan. I appreciate it. All right, let's go to Miss Marcia. Miss Marcia, thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Hey, Miss Marcia, how you doing? You can't hear me? My favorite socialist.
Hello? Yes, I'm here. Hello?
How you doing today?
Oh, I'm back at the subject. Okay, between 1842 to 1900, Canada's made up half of all medicine sold with virtually no problem at all.
Mm-hmm.
And, they used to sell heroin in a bottle also. I think this is absolutely horrible. I have a friend's daughter-in-law just been diagnosed with MS. And, in my line of work, I have been working with people 45 years ago. It's on Channel 2, where I had a client, and she had MS, and the government was sending her a whole can of marijuana 45 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear me?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then I had another client that I had over here, West Bloomfield Hills, and that was over 45 years ago. The government was sending him rolled up joints.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All of this is a big lie to put black and browns in jail. Jeff Sessions is invested, which to me should be a conflict of interest, is that he is invested in the penal system, to put people in prisons. Okay, the prison industrial complex. He is invested in that. Now, how in the world? And also another fact is that Israel is going to be the largest producers of hemp in the world.
Wow.
Do you understand me? So listen, and why is our country importing hemp from, it's getting ready to spread over India and China. Hemp is the best, listen, we're talking the best industry that you can have. Hemp does not break down. Bugs don't kill it. You understand? It's the best thing for your houses and for all type of industries can develop, from clothing, shoes, products and cars. I mean,
concrete,
everything.
You name it. You name it.
I mean, oil for the car. I mean, this is an industry that has. What do we have? You see, the brown truck. They just ordered. I want Walters to know. They just ordered 20. What is that? What is that? The trucking company. With the brown truck. The brown truck.
UPS.
UPS just ordered 22 electric trucks like that. So, Walter, you got to be computer literate to handle those trucks like that. Right. You understand me? Mm-hmm. This ain't going to be nothing dumb. No dumb people no more. And Walmart is getting ready to expand the checkouts. Taking humans off from the cash registers.
I can't stand that. Ooh, I hate self registers. Ooh, that ticks me off.
Okay, Walmart is getting ready to do that. Okay, now you were talking about the tax break. Do you know AT&T is laying off people? I think they're gonna lay off 6,000 people.
I heard it was only 600. I heard it was 600 people.
Oh, yeah, 600.
Don't make it sound so bad. I mean, 600 is not good. Listen, but 6,000 is awful.
Engineers, they could be engineers. Big money gone. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean,
there's no question that we definitely have to get our young folks prepared for jobs of the future. That's no question about that. And I was talking to someone, I think someone called in yesterday. Michigan in particular, we have to start preparing our students for science and math. For the long time, we've only prepared our kids to go work in plants. That was the basis of our education programs here, was to get them educated enough so they could go punch in on the clock at the plant. Those jobs really don't exist like that the way they used to, and we got to start preparing our kids for the future. So thank you. I appreciate you calling in today, Miss Marcia. Thank you so much.
Did you listen to the man I told you, the economist? What's his name?
Well, how am I going to remember if you don't know his name?
Wait a minute.
How am I going to remember if you don't remember his name, Miss Marcia? You got to give me his name.
Wait a minute.
Because I'm going to say, no, I haven't checked him out yet, because you don't even remember his name.
Richard Wolf, Richard Wolf, man. He's
all right.
Man.
I'm going to write that down. All right, thank you so much.
Richard Wolf, yeah.
Richard Wolf. All right, where's my pen here? I'm going to write that down. All right, thank you for calling in, Miss Marcia. I appreciate that. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show. We're about to go on a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more about Jeff Sessions. We're going to talk a little bit about Steve Bannon. He walked it back. Yeah, I told you. Steve Bannon's a loser. And he had to immediately apologize to President Trump. Because like President Trump said, it's not so easy winning by yourself. You're not rolling with a winner. We'll be back on the Wayne Bradley Show, 9-10 a.m., your superstation.
Trying to get high, see it in my eye. I know she playing both sides, that telling lies. But my give her a high, she down for the ride.
We've got Chad Livengood on the line from Crane's Detroit Business. Chad, what's going on in the business world this week?
I got a cover story today about traffic trends at the bridge in Detroit and also Port Huron, our international crossings, as we're preparing as a region to build this new bridge. The projections that were always used to justify construction of this bridge have not held up. Back in 2010, when Governor Granholm was still in office and was still pushing to try to get a vote on the legislature on authorizing construction of the bridge. This is before Governor Snyder took over this project. So we're kind of at a critical juncture now in this planning for this Gordie Howe Bridge. The bids are due in May. The consortium of companies that are competing to build, design, and finance the construction of the bridge are in line to try to have a deal in place by next September.
910 AM Superstation, the future of radio. 910 AM Superstation, the only urban talk radio station in town.
How you going to be nonviolent in Mississippi as violent as you were in Korea? How can you justify being nonviolent in Mississippi and Alabama when your churches are being bombed and your little girls are being murdered? And at the same time, you're going to get violent with Hitler and Tojo and somebody else that you don't even know. If violence is wrong in America, violence is wrong abroad. If it's wrong to be violent, defending black women and black children and black babies and black men, then it's wrong for America to draft us and make us violent abroad in defense of her. And if it is right for America to draft us and teach us how to be violent in defense of her, then it is right for you and me to do whatever is necessary to defend our own people right here in this country.
910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. If the conversation is hot and the lines are jammed, give us a try at 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601. That's 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601.
910 Superstation is off the chisang.
910 AM Superstation is the voice of Detroit, and we want to hear what you have to say by any means necessary. There's always something new to talk about, and 910 AM Superstation wants to have you covered from every angle. So we're adding some familiar voices and strong opinions to the best talk radio station in town. 910 AM Superstation has arrived, and we're here to stay. We got the topics, the guests, the opinions, and the facts. From 7 to 9 a.m., we'll have the editor for the Detroit News, Nolan Finley.
This is the most volatile time in the country in my professional career. And, that generates a lot of news, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Followed by the one and only David Alexander Bullock from 9 to 11 a.m.
The People Show, man, we bring it to you live and in full effect.
The always insightful and controversial Steve Niebling from 11 a.m. to noon.
And I do want to hear from you what you want to hear from me.
Bankalay Thompson from noon to 2 p.m.
This is the platform where we delve into the facts and informed opinion. We ask the tough questions.
The Cliff Russell Show from 2 to 4 p.m.
I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care.
Spud from 4 to 6 p.m.
Detroit's only African-American talk station, 24/7 Spud is here.
Whatever you need, it's right here on 910 AM Superstation, the future of radio.
This Pastor Mo, a.k.a. the street preacher, a.k.a. the street sweeper, a.k.a. my brother and sister's keeper.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio.
Justice League, Justice League, Justice League.
It's the boss. It gets no better than this.
Maybach. Swimming and winning, champagne sipping, gold emblem with 2 M's in it. This flipping is so magnificent. Stop dreaming it. Oh, I can show you better than I can tell you. I can show you.
I'm the magnificent.
Welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show, 9:10 a.m. in the Superstation. Been having a good show so far, talking about Jeff Sessions and his attack on the devil's lettuce. That's what they used to call it back in the day, Juwan, the devil's lettuce. It's been quite an interesting thing here.
Okay, you gotta sit there and really explain that to me. Devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce. That's what they called it back in the day. I saw a poster They called it, like I said earlier, the wacky tobacco, the devil's lettuce. That's what they used to call it back in the day, the devil's lettuce.
So how do you feel about Jeff Sessions?
Well, I think it's
law?
It's not law. I think what he's done is just basically he wrote another memo. Obama wrote a memo that said don't use federal resources to go after this. Sessions is saying, hey, I'm reminding you that this is against federal law. Now, again, everyone has discretion on what they're going to do.
So, but I'm just saying, though, so it's cool for you to try to ban marijuana, though, but you still got opioids and heroin still out here.
Oh, no. Like I said, I'm not defending that.
So basically what you're trying to say is marijuana's not cool, though, but opioids and heroin, let's go for it.
Well, the drug makers make those. They have a control over that. They're lobbying on it. That's the problem.
So it's cool for you to sniff it, smoke it, inject it in your veins. It's cool to do that, and it's cool to pop opioids. It's cool to do that.
Like I said, they call it a crisis. They call that a crisis too.
But marijuana, though, I don't understand that because I have not seen
federal tax dollars at work, man.
I have not seen marijuana not once causes violence or anything.
It's definitely a generational issue. Again, Jeff Sessions is 70 years old. Plus 70 plus, there's a lot of guys in his generation that think like that.
Sure, you don't smoke weed or do any kind of grass?
That's on them. Everyone is their own individual. I have no issues with that. We're gonna take before I get going again, I want to give a special shout out to my kids that are here today. Gabby, Madison, and Trey are in the other room. They told me to make sure I gave them a shout out. I'm happy they got to come to work with Dad today. So what's happening, kids? Glad you guys can make it. Get the round of applause for my bad little kids there. Love you guys. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for coming to work with Dad today. All right, let's go to Tony.
You're making me jealous. Now I got to bring my daughter to work. Now you're making me jealous.
Go bring them in.
Now I got to bring.
You want them to see. You want them to see you in work, so they can see that Dad works hard to bring home a meal on that table sometimes, and maybe they want to do this one day. I know my middle daughter has a lot of personality. I could see her being some kind of radio host. She's pretty wild. So, all right, let's go to Tony. Tony, who's on the line. Tony, thanks for calling in.
Thanks for taking my call, Wayne. And a shout out to your precious little people.
Oh, thank
you. In studio with you. And also Juwan's precious little one. I love the little people.
Gotta love the kids.
Got to. Okay, so Jeff Beauregard Session.
Mm-hmm.
So he compared heroin to be a step, marijuana to be a step lower than heroin. I want to ask Jeff Session and whoever thinks like him, what's the deal with the largest distributor of opiate pharmaceuticals, McKesson Distribution Company? 60 Minutes did a story on that maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they ended up paying $153 million in fines, but they could never get an indictment. And it was even speculated that they were just too powerful. Their lobby, they were just too powerful to bring down.
Well, that's it was lobbying.
Two or three federal agencies that were investigating them and trying to bring a couple of the inside circle people down. They were distributing opioids in excess of what was even ordered to doctors, hospitals. It was a big story. And then for him to go after medical marijuana, really, when it helps so many people with multiple sclerosis and pain, as opposed to getting somebody addicted to an opioid, and when they can't get the opioid, they're going to heroin. And the next part is, what do people who are strung out on drugs like that, they either die or they commit petty or all kinds of crimes to get what they want to get.
Right. No, that's I think that's
marijuana and anger. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, you got a lot of people looking at that like, what's going on here at this point? And why are we spending our federal tax dollars essentially fighting something that maybe, obviously, our Attorney General doesn't necessarily agree with? But I just think that's a waste of our dollars. I don't understand.
It is.
I don't understand where that, why we are spending our dollars that way. But, I'm sure there are other people that maybe feel a little differently. I just think that in particular with medical marijuana, I don't understand why we would try to interfere with people who feel that this is working for them. Every person is an individual, and everyone has their right to the way they want to heal themselves. I don't believe that. Again, we have all these people addicted to legal drugs. I find it almost laughable that we are trying to say in any kind of way that medical marijuana or marijuana in general is a health issue. So I don't get that. We'll see what happens. I'm thinking, like I said, a lot of Republican senators are from states now where at least medical marijuana is in practice. I think they're going to be equally as they're going to challenge Jeff Sessions on this as much as any Democrat will. So we'll just keep watching it, Tony.
Hey, Wayne.
Yes.
Hey, Wayne, one more thing. Like Miss Marcia said about the hemp industry, that is a $1 trillion industry if it's implemented in all the ways that hemp products can be industrialized.
Well, I think that's another reason why you have all these big companies fighting it is because they don't want that competition. Oil, you have gas company, energy companies that don't want to see hemp oil in place. You have medical companies, you have paper companies. I mean, there's so many industries that could affect.
Clothing.
Yes, indeed. So I mean, a lot of people want to challenge that.
I think Ford still. I think it's maybe made overseas, but there's a component in the door that's made out of hemp, and I guess it was outlawed in the U.S., but when they import the part, it's utilized.
No, I agree. As I said, it's too many legal companies with plenty of lobbying dollars now that have made this the issue. It's surely not a health issue at this point. So thank you, Tony, so much.
Pharmaceutical industrial complex.
That's it. There you go. And heaven forbid not want to throw people in jail for that. So thank you so much. All right, we're going to go to my man, Walter. Walter, I'm interested to hear what Walter has to say about this. I don't know why they hate on you so bad on here, Walter. Bring in the crowd. Bring in the applause. Yeah. Bring it in for my man, Walter. I can't stand when they boo my man like that. What's up, Walter? My man, Walter.
Man, Juwan let that go on quite long there, man.
I'm telling you, you're a celebrity on here, man. You're a celebrity around 910.
Whoops, my finger slipped.
Oh man, that's hilarious, man. I have fun with that. You know what I take? I have to take some good humor every now and then, man.
Yes, indeed.
Even though I'm about to light Juwan's ears up with the rest of them.
Go ahead, man. I'm interested to hear what you had to say about this. I'm not going to be surprised, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this. Where are you at with this, Walter?
Listen, marijuana is an excuse to get high. And I'm going to tell you something. Contrary to popular belief, nobody needs medical marijuana for their ills and wills and problems because we got too many thousand other solutions for whether you have pain or this or that or that or this.
But those solutions can be addictive, though, Walter. We know that. I mean, we watched Brett Favre be addicted to pain pills. We've watched, now again, we know there's certain people that will misuse medical stuff the way they do the other drugs that we can buy over the counter. But I just don't see where the gripe is. I mean, yeah, you're right. Some people are definitely going to abuse it, but they're abusing opioids as by the the example of now we have an opioid crisis in America. So I mean, what do we do?
Those are illicit, immoral drugs. I'm talking about healthy solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Medical science and doctors and people with intelligence is discovering all types of natural remedies to do away with certain things. And like I said, there's no excuse. By the way, smoking marijuana is a sin. Oh, boy, don't shout me down. Don't shout me down. Turn me down, pull me down, and turn me down.
Hey, man, look, I've heard this argument before, so I want to hear it. Go ahead, man. Break it down.
So ain't doing heroin is a sin, too, and doing opioids, too?
No, man, don't interrupt Walter right now.
Sin.
Let Walter finish.
Flat out sin.
It's
a flat out sin in the Bible. I got scriptures.
Is drinking alcohol a sin? Is drinking alcohol a sin?
Drunkenness, Proverbs chapter 20:23 talks about that wine.
All kinds of drugs is a sin, though, but everybody's still doing it.
As you can see here, Juwan is a little more passionate about this art issue.
I'm asking Juwan on something else he mentioned. First of all, it's an idol. It replaces God as being your God and your number one lover.
Mm-hmm.
It's something because you're not satisfied with spiritual things. You go to natural things to satisfy that inner struggle and that peace that you don't have. So you turn to all types of things. Drugs are just a replacement for Jesus and God. All right, now I know people shout me down by now.
Woo!
And God, it's the tree of knowledge and good and evil.
But couldn't someone make an argument, Walter, that God made that plant?
Oh yeah, see, that's where I was going.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Plant, but he made the tree. He made the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He told them to stay away from it. It's a test. He said you can have all these other things, but the devil tell you, I give you all the kingdoms of the world. I give you everything. I give you drugs. I give you alcohol. I give you sex outside of marriage, fornication. I give you adultery, and I give you hatred, evil, all types of evil sins. If you worship me, bow down to me. It's just a replacement of God. It's a breaking of the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me, or you shall have no other gods before me. Now that y'all had your many serving that, this is what Jerron was saying. Jerron was saying that he ain't never heard about nobody getting violent or committing foolishness because they was under influence of marijuana. Who told you we're naked, Jerron?
Huh?
That is a fabricated myth. As people do commit, you can't convince me that some of these murders you hear about lately.
They're not high off weed, though, Walter. I mean,
it gotta take a higher drug for you to actually be on some killing rampage type of stuff. Like,
yeah, most
marijuana is not gonna do that.
Makes you lazy.
It might make you lazy, hungry, or anything other than that particular though. But
on the other hand, Walter, we definitely know there's verifiable guys who get drunk and beat up their wives.
And JJ called in and talked about read Genesis 1 verse 29, and it said, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of tree yielding seed, and to you it shall be for me. To you should be for me.
Okay, you are.
I'm enjoying this, man. I'm enjoying these Bible verses.
Hey, Gerard, I'm convinced. Hey, I'm impressed. You know a few scriptures. Let me just take it out of context. Let me say this.
Oh, I'm enjoying this.
The tree of marijuana, alcohol, all them other sins I labeled are the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He told them to stay away from it. I give you many more alternatives, many more pleasures, but stay away from that one tree. It's a test. But I'm not going to dwell on that. Talk about Jeff Sessions. I guess Jeff is in Sessions now. Finally,
Walter. He is skating a thin line. Because listen, Trump said this was going to be a states' right issue. He said he didn't want to get involved in it personally, and so this is, to me, and this is kind of how the White House has been running. Jeff Sessions might have his own agenda. He's from the old school. He's from the this is your brain on drugs era. So this is something that might have meant something to him, but it never meant anything to Trump. Is this risky? Ticking Trump off anymore right now, because he's already on thin ice with Donald Trump for recusing himself for this Russia investigation. What do you think, Walter?
So I knew that when he recused himself, I said, man, that guy just goofed. He just messed up.
Yeah, he did.
Went against Donald Trump's wishes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he just a flat out. Jeff Sessions was recommended by certain watered down Republicans anyway, the Mitt Romney types.
Oh, don't hate on my boy Mac Middens, man. Come on.
To get me started on Mr. Mormon Tabernacle Choir. That clown, man. That clown.
Come on. Man, I tell you, man, the hate on Mitt Romney is rough. He gets it from everywhere. He gets it from Christian folks for being a Mormon. He gets it from the hardcore right for not conservative enough. And only people that seem to like Mitt are the country club Republicans.
Listen, Mitt Romney is a straight-laced, lily white boy. That's right, I said it, and you know I ain't not no racist. He's the reason we got Obama the second time. Because you know what? He backstabbed us in that last debate. You hear that last debate? Man, he lit Obama up in that first debate.
Mm-hmm.
I even felt, for the first time, I felt sorry for Ali Obama and the 100,000 thieves. I actually felt sorry for Trump. He hung his head down because Mitt Romney lit his butt up. I'm talking about Barack Obama again in that first debate. And all of a sudden, from that transition from the first debate to the third debate, this clown started agreeing with Obama. I said, "Oh my God, we have just lost the election." So we need to sit down and go back to his
But you got to give him credit. You got to give Mitt credit. He said in that debate that Russia was going to be a problem. Russia's been a problem. Russia was a problem for a good portion of Obama's last couple of years in office. So while some people might not like Mitt Romney for whatever reasons, I don't think that you can discredit the fact that he's a good leader, a good businessman, and he knows how to bring people together to get a goal done, whether it's been the Olympics, whether it's been in his business as a turnaround specialist, or whether he was the governor of Massachusetts, where he was the only Republican almost elected in the state of Massachusetts. So to me, I think he has some redeeming qualities, and I understand why certain people might feel a certain way about him. But there's no denying the fact that he's a leader and he knows how to get stuff done. I think that's what we gotta give him credit for.
Brother, Wayne, you are so nice, man. You know, but I'm gonna tell you what. Over Obama, yes, I voted for Mitt Romney.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I think he would have won because he exposed Obama for the snake that he's always been. He exposed him right in that first debate, but for some reason she started agreeing with Obama, and I said right there. I even heard Sean Hannity say, "Oh my God, we just lost the election." But I'll take any crackhead over any Democrat, including all the way to this day. I would take Bush at his worst, Mitt Romney at his worst, over any Democrat politician.
You got me using your words now, Walter. Some Democrats.
That's right. Or the fakercrat, snakercrat. You got to add that to it.
Thanks a lot, Walter, man.
But I tell you what, man, appreciate it, man. I tell you what. Jerron, I love you to death, but you're wrong on that marijuana. It's called sorcery in the Bible. Look at witchcraft and sorcery.
So you getting them started with that? You talking about the devil's lettuce. Thank you, Walter, for calling in today, brother. I appreciate it.
We call it the devil's turnip greens.
Thank you, Walter. Appreciate it, my brother. I ain't booing you. There we go. Give it up for my man, Walter. All right, we've got Abdullah on the line, and I'm interested to hear where Abdullah's coming from on this issue. Abdullah, thanks for calling in.
Well, thank you for taking my call, and you come up with a lot of good points today. I listen to you a lot of times. Sometimes I'll be on different other stations, but what you were saying is true. You know, getting into the marijuana, marijuana is really, it's an herb, you know. Now, I got glaucoma.
Right.
And my doctor told me that I could get it. He could give me a card where I could go get it, you know, and you could certainly say it was good for glaucoma.
Mm-hmm.
But I never drank, well, no more than when I was about my young age, I drank beer, but when it come to that, they had White Lightning, all the different whiskeys. A lot of them drink that stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I never smoked. I never did none of that stuff, you know. Never used no drugs, you know. But what's happening to this marijuana? See, I can raise it. I got about a half-acre land that I raise a garden, and I have a lot of different vegetables and herbs and everything I raise in my garden. I don't raise no marijuana, though. But if I don't use it, and I don't need it. I don't want it. And I told my doctor this would put me on the drops, and that was good enough for me. I didn't want no use nothing like that. But what's happening to the marijuana, they're mixing it with chemicals. That's where it's going to become the danger of it. And put chemicals, and like they even put crack, mix it with crack and all that stuff. And that's where there's a danger, that marijuana. But if it's just the real marijuana, straight from
the ground. Yep.
It's not no danger to it, brother.
I agree with you. I'm not. Hey, listen, this is one of those issues where I just said, you know, to me, it's more of a generational issue with guys like Sessions than it is. I mean, it's not health.
And one more thing I like to say when you get through.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Hello?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah. And Those are some smart brothers and sisters out there that's booing Walter. Walter,
don't you start
he's
that.
Dead. You know, you can see a man laying in a casket. You can go to him and talk to him all day, but he don't hear what you're saying. And then he talk about how he like the Bible. And the Bible, like his King James Version, that's the only one he know anything about. He don't know anything about the Torah or the Injil or the all of the other Bibles, you know, the Holy Quran. See, I read all of those books. I've gone to all of these different places, Buddhist. I've gone to Buddhist temples. I've gone to Jewish synagogues. And I learned something from all of them. And I got a Mormon Bible up there. I got all them Bibles, you know. But Walter is really, he makes himself look bad, you know. And when you agree with him, brother, you make yourself look bad. And the one that's
Walter's good people. I'm going to stand up for my boy Walter. I ain't going to let nobody talk bad about Walter like that. They're trying to boo us. They booing me still, man. It's a rough crowd here today. Rough crowd out there.
I hate to see you do that, brother, because you have a lot of good points.
I try to make good points. I try to be fair,
the Bible
you know.
Said, let the dead bury the dead. And that's the only thing can happen to him, you know. If the Bible, you claim he knows the Bible.
Well, listen, man. Now, what I would tell you, and I've learned.
None of those religions, all person with any intelligence just listen to him. And that's all I say.
Well, thank you, Abdullah. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do see that. Listen, I've been to many churches and pastors. Now, any good Christian, I can tell you this. I don't care who you are. Any good Christian can find them a Bible verse or two that you can craft for your narrative. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, whether you're trying to get your woman to behave, whether you're trying, it doesn't matter what it is. You can find, you know, you can. You know, I love to hear some of my fellas when they say, "Well, it says in the Bible you're supposed to submit to your husband," but then a woman say, "Well, you didn't read the part where it says the man's supposed to submit to God first." So it's always, you know, people take a verse or two and use them how they want to. So I get it, man.
Well, that's the way it was put together, the King James Version. You know, 50 different people can take that book. And all of them can carry
no question about it.
In the King James Version.
No question.
You know anything about King James?
You said, do I know anything about King James?
Read the history of King James.
Okay. All right, I'll check that out.
Read his history. King James history.
All right, Abdullah.
And you know why he put that book like that.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, that's all I have to say, brother. And happy, prosperous New Year, too.
Happy New Year to you as well, my brother.
I want to wish a happy, prosperous New Year to Kevin Adele and the ones who help running the
Dodie Johnson.
They're really great.
Yes, they are. Thank you, Dodie. Happy New Year to Dodie, and Happy New Year to Kevin Adele as well. Thank you, Abdullah, for calling in today. I appreciate it. All right, we're about to go to a break here on the Wayne Bradley Show. Give us a call, 313-209-9000. We're going to go into the second half of the break here and talk a little about Steve Bannon and how good or bad he's been for the Republican Party. I'm going to have fun with that one. It's not that hard to say. So give us a call, 313-209-9000. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m., your superstation. Boss.
I deserve that. I deserve you. Whoa.
Celebration Church of Detroit is on the move. Join them starting Sunday, October 1st at 9 a.m. at their new spacious home, the Auditorium of Southeastern High School, 3030 Fairview on Detroit's East Side. Come and receive a life-changing word from Bishop Greg Davis. Starting Sunday, October 1st at 9 a.m. for 90 minutes of praise, worship, and the Word. Their new home, Southeastern High School, October 1st, 3030 Fairview.
910 AM Superstation, the leader in voices.
Things
things that I miss about Obama more so than anything is that his swag was just on a zillion. You just could not beat his swag. That he was able to interact with people. He was just such a people person. He just stood out. He just was fly. And I miss that. The way that he was able to keep his candor and just to keep his cool. And he wasn't going off on people. And he wasn't tweeting about folks. And he wasn't, lying. He wasn't lying. Can somebody tell me if there was something that Obama lied about? I don't know of anything that anyone can tell me that President Obama lied about. The only thing that I'm sure Republicans are probably going to call me and say that Obama probably lied about is you can keep your doctor when the Affordable Care Act came about.
910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio. 910 AM Superstation is in a league of its own. We are the only talk radio station in the Metro Detroit area sensitive to the African American community.
Make sure you join us on what station?
910 AM the Superstation.
910 AM.
910 AM. On 910 AM Superstation.
910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only African American based talk radio station. Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 910 AM Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
It is your best Saturday day party in town. You guys, X.
Bottles with models.
You know what? You hear what kind of show is this? I hear champagne bottles popping in the back. Bobby's got it like
all over the place.
Oh, man.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 910 AM Superstation. Every weeknight at 9 p.m. is something new and something fresh.
This is Todd Corser, and I want you to check out my show. Listen in and call every week as we explore government and hot topics. Tune in, raw and uncut.
This is attorney Michael Schwartz at 910 AM Superstation, and you can hear me every Tuesday night starting at 9 p.m.
Hello, Detroit. This is attorney Crystal Crittenden, and please tune in to my new show, The Truth Matters, on 910 AM Superstation.
Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Mitchell, your host of Mind Your Business. Listen to my show live every Thursday from 9 to 11 p.m.
I'm Reverend Maya Lisa Reynolds, inviting you to listen to Mama Maya Speaks Friday evenings from 9 until 11 p.m., discussing education, motivation, and inspiration on Superstation 910 AM.
Different names, different voices, but the same energy. 910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
I absolutely love this radio station. This station gets me through the work week.
And we don't just show love to the callers. We see the comments and the posts too.
I'm always on the go, so being able to watch all my favorite hosts on 910 AM mobile app is amazing.
So when you think of 910 AM Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media. 910 AM Superstation gives you the flip side, the real side. This is our side.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Hill Harper.
It's your boy, Lil Wayne.
Check it out. Hey, this is Lisa Ray, and you're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation.
You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station.
Okay, I won't deny it. Half the time you send a text, yeah, you know I'm not replying. Just to let you know I'm not one of them you be dodging. I'm the one that you dodge with.
Welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show, 9:10 a.m. in Superstation. Been having a good conversation. Thank you for everyone that's called in so far. You know what I miss? Where's Dr. Mack? He hasn't called since that day he got all crazy acting on the phone. You don't want no more of this smoke, I guess, huh? Shout out to Dr. Mack. Love to hear your theory on this medical marijuana. You know, you're an educated, a scholar. Give us a call, 313-209-9000. You know, another issue that I'll just bring up that it's almost crazy is that you got people that are locked up in jail right now for marijuana. And so, that's been the other argument is that, once you make it legal, you still have people in jail for it. This is I'm going to bring in some folks from both sides of this issue over the next couple of weeks because I guess we'll be talking about this more and more as 2018 moves along because there are people from both sides that have something to say about this issue, and I am interested. I like hearing folks giving us a call and giving us their input on that. I'm looking for, if anyone noticed, Steve Bannon has already walked it back. He's already somewhat apologized to Donald Trump in regards to,
Is it Steve Bannon 60 Minutes?
No, that was actually another conversation. Just go to yesterday. Just hit Steve Bannon recent interview, and we'll find that. We're trying to find the interview where basically Bannon had to walk it back, which, this is the problem I have with this, is that he almost took credit for Donald Trump winning the election, which is ridiculous. He helped maybe with some messaging. He helped maybe do some things in terms of giving him some vision. We'll find it. Don't worry about it right now, Juwan. We'll find it later. He did help Donald Trump in a way of creating this echo chamber of mad folks that he understood how to tap into that market because that's what Breitbart News was. And so he brought in the unique ability to know how to trigger and to rally and motivate and upset a group of guys, a group of older white gentlemen. I would say that would be that group that is most affected and most upset at times nowadays. Again, I had a gentleman yesterday that told me that white civil rights have been taken away. And it was interesting that one person actually talked about it in terms of what gay rights are. And I would say, if you ask me, gay rights are an expansion of white civil rights. It's not black gay groups that have been the ones fighting. This has been a liberal white issue that started on the coast, California, New York, where, this was an issue that people wanted addressed, and it got addressed. But I just don't get where we're at right now with this. I don't get it. And so, Bannon tried to take credit for something that wasn't his. And Donald Trump quickly reminded him that, hey, I want to read the statement. I want to read the statement because it tickles me. I want to keep this going for a little while. It tickles me what Donald Trump said yesterday to Steve Bannon, where to the fact where, like I said, Bannon had to, walk it back a little bit. He said he still is committed to seeing Donald Trump be successful. He said Donald Trump was a great man, but I'm going to tell you something right now. If that is the case, then he this book, and this is where it's not new. It's nothing new for people who work in the White House, in particular in the White House, that they take advantage of the time they're there. And when they get out, they all of a sudden have this great memory of all the things that happened, all these details, because they were probably taking notes while they were there of all the crazy things that happened in the White House. And they make a book. They get rich. And I just want to read the statement because this statement fills me with so much joy, because it's just basically Donald Trump putting Steve Bannon in his place. So I'm going to give this. Steve Bannon had nothing to do with me or my presidency. Amen. When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind. Steve was a staffer who worked for me, and I had already won the nomination by defeating 17 candidates, often described as the most talented field ever assembled in the Republican Party. These are all facts. Now that he's on his own, Steve is learning that winning isn't as easy as I make it look. Steve had very little to do with our historic victory, which was delivered by the forgotten men and women of this country. Yet Steve had everything to do with the loss of a Senate seat in Alabama. Amen. And held for more than 30 years by Republicans. Steve doesn't represent my base. He's only in it for himself. Now, this is coming from Donald Trump, of course. Steve pretends to be at war with the media, which he calls the opposition party, yet he spent this time at the White House, leaking false information to the media to make himself seem far more important than he was. It's also the only thing he does well. Steve was rarely in a one-on-one meeting with me and only pretends to have had influence to fool a few people with no access and no clue whom he helped write phony books. We have many great Republican members of Congress and candidates who are very supportive of the Make America Great Again agenda. Like me, they love the United States of America and are helping to finally take our country back and build it up rather than simply seeking to burn it all down. And that is Steve Bannon in a nutshell. He wanted to burn it all down. And you just can't operate like that. Can't have a successful company, a successful government, with someone that's there for the destruction. That's what he wants to do. He wants to destroy the institution itself. And it's just, listen, there's no room for that. Like I said yesterday, Alex Jones probably feels the exact same way. But you know what? No one's silly enough to hire Alex Jones to be their communications director or make him some sort of senior advisor to your campaign. Steve Bannon had been quieter. He was not a celebrity. The way Alex Jones is, no one had heard of Steve Bannon. In fact, you can make an argument that Alex Jones was more known than Steve Bannon before he ever stepped foot into dealing with Donald Trump, okay? And so, but no one would hire Alex Jones to be their director of communications. No one. I don't think there's any Republican, any libertarian, anybody that would hire him to be their chief of staff or communications director. Because you know why? Alex Jones is kind of like in it for himself. I mean, he's promoting information and everything, but it's about Alex Jones and InfoWars. Same thing with Steve Bannon. He was there to promote and lift the value of Breitbart. He wants to make some of these guys, they bring in lenders and they want valuations. Well, guess what? His valuations went up because he was associated with Donald Trump. He got what he wanted out the deal. He's writing a book. But now it's time. It's time to put Steve Bannon and his crew, all that to rest. They had a good run. They got more attention than they've ever got. Because let's be clear, these guys have been feeling this way for a long time, but they never were that loud. They weren't having rallies and all this foolishness that's going on. Or if they did have rallies, the news didn't show up to report it. They didn't cover it. No one else showed up to even protest them. Because you know what? 10 to 15 guys marching regarding an ignorant cause doesn't really amount to much. And that goes for some of these liberals that do the exact same thing sometimes. So sometimes the best thing you can do is ignore stupid stuff. America, we chose as the media. The media has chose to cover it because it's sensational, sensationalized. The news loves selling racism, violence, and sex. Those are the three things that you can never go wrong in terms of getting more clicks on your website, in terms of getting more people to tune in when you're promoting racism, sexism, any of those kind of things. Any of those isms, you can get people to change the channel and tune in. No one, the media loves it. Now, people, as human beings, we don't love it, but you know what? We tune in. There's no better way to promote things than to involve sex, violence, and racism in terms of media. It's like running water. It's the blood. It's the blood that pumps in the veins of media. These three topics that they'll never get enough of, and that's why Donald Trump. And he brought all that to the table for the way the media wanted to spin it, and that's why they can't get enough of him. That's why he said the other day, if I wasn't president, a lot of media would go down the tubes. You know why? Because they spent all their time bashing and talking about Donald Trump. They helped create the person they don't like anymore. During the debates last year, no one talked about Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio. No one talked about them because you know why? They enjoyed promoting Donald Trump. They didn't think he was going to win. They didn't think he was going to win the primary. They didn't think he would win the general election. So the media itself was complicit because they enjoyed in receiving the marketing dollars, the attention of promoting Donald. You put Donald Trump on the front of your cover of your magazine, it's going to sell. You put Donald Trump as the promotion of your news clip for the evening, people are going to turn in. And the media knows they are part of the problem. And with Donald Trump figured it out pretty quickly. that the media is addicted to him, and he plays them like a fiddle. Plays them like a fiddle every time. In fact, when I see crazy stories start popping out, I start really paying attention, like, all right, what's about to really happen here? While we're arguing over something foolish, there could be some military action taken, you know. People seem to be really bugged out by the fact that Donald Trump said that he had a bigger button than Kim Jong-il. You know what? I'm proud of my president. I am tired of having these soft presidents. And then, listen, I shouldn't call them, say, soft in the essence of it. They were, classy, dignified, whatever. But, when you're dealing with a guy like Kim Jong-il, he's been threatening America for a long time. Now, some people say, well, there's nothing he can do. I don't see the reason why we keep empowering him to feel that he can threaten America with no repercussions, shoot off missiles. No one does anything about it. This has been going on for years. This is why it's news when Donald Trump pushes back, because you know why? American presidents haven't been pushing back against North Korea in a very long time. We haven't respected their resolve. Yes. They haven't respected their resolve. Bye, Madison. My daughter's leaving. She's headed home. See you later, baby. My kid, one of my daughters, is heading out. Go hang out with her mom, so she is leaving the studio. So there, again, I just don't get it. I don't understand why we are heading in that direction. Give us a call, 313-209-9000. Do you think Steve Bannon regrets now spilling all the tea about what happened in the White House? We got about another 14 days. What is it? Yeah, 15 days. We're on Omarosa watch. Omarosa's official last day at the White House is January 20th, and at that point, I've heard all kinds of rumors and speculations about books and reality TV shows. Again, folks coming there with their own agendas, looking to do what they can do to help their own situation. And sometimes I wonder if that's been the problem. The real problem has been a bunch of people that have surrounded this president that didn't put his agenda first, that haven't looked to put the agenda of America first, and they're looking out for themselves. Steve Bannon, you can make that argument. Omarosa, you can make that argument. Now, I think that she was more loyal to Donald Trump than Steve Bannon is. I think that her first priority is obviously herself, but I think she had, a certain amount of love and respect for Trump because he put her in a position to be a winner, to be in the position to be in the White House in the first place. And it's because of that loyalty that I don't believe that her book is going to talk bad about Donald Trump, but everyone else around Donald Trump is fair game, which I don't have a problem with because you know what? I elected Donald Trump to be my president. I don't really care about most of his staff and the people around him, his Trump, those aren't my concern. Same way with Mike Flynn. I don't care if Mike Flynn goes to jail. If he did something wrong, he should go to jail. Steve Bannon, I don't care if you fire Steve Bannon. He was nobody in the beginning. Go back to Breitbart. Do what you do. But I think that those are the things that, there are people that were mad about Steve Bannon being fired or being taught. They were mad yesterday at Trump, which rarely happens. It rarely happens. But this is the kind of schism. This is where you're going to see the people that really want to make America great again or the people that want to roll with Steve Bannon, which I don't know what that is. I don't know. Again, economic nationalism is the term the phrase that he used. But when you incorporate the word nationalism, that people are going to get the wrong idea. People are going to be excited about the wrong things. And that's what we have here. We have folks that are mad at Donald Trump for kicking Steve Bannon to the curb after Steve Bannon was the one that showed the disloyalty to Donald Trump. So it's a strange world we're living in. Politics is weird right now, folks. Give us a call, 313-209-9000 or 313-778-7601. We are talking about the fact that, and I got to ask the folks on the line here about this. Do you think Trump is wrong for tossing Steve Bannon to the curb? I think he was bad for business from the jump. And, I didn't understand why he was invited here to Macomb County, and I'll say that again. I never quite understood that. I could have went, and I said, well, I don't understand. It's a unity dinner, and we're inviting a guy that takes pride and trying to destroy our party. Goes after Paul Ryan. I mean, I live by that 11th the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not speak ill against one's fellow Republican. But and I guess unless you're a really bad one like Roy Moore, then I will take off the glove. I'll make it. We call that the Roy Moore exception, because it's not too many people are on that level. But Steve Bannon, he's right there in that same group. That was Steve Bannon's guy from day one. If Steve Bannon wouldn't have got involved in that race and only allowed Donald Trump to do his endorsement and not have a guy that's going down there endorsing the opponent, we would not be stuck with a Democrat in the Alabama Senate right now. So I'm sure the Democrats are a little disappointed that they were getting rid of, that Steve Bannon is no longer considered a major player in the Trump administration. But you guys can have him. Yeah, I'm sure you'll use him for propaganda because he's going to keep talking. He can't help it. He's going to continue to, make allegations and claims because, again, he has to stay relevant for Breitbart to stay relevant. And that's the problem with attaching yourself to one guy that kind of has his own agenda. Economic nationalism to the point where we're putting jobs of Americans first and things like that, that's fine. But there's certain jobs that Americans that didn't leave America in the first place that Americans chose not to want to apply for. Americans don't want to do it. I was in the barbershop the other day, and we were talking about it. Black folks are not going to go work in a cotton field in California. Just ain't going to happen. I don't know any black person that's willing to go work in a cotton field. I don't care if you paid them $15 or $20 an hour. Juwan, would you work in a cotton field for $15 an hour? I don't think you would.
It's $15 an hour.
Would you work? Would you work in the cotton fields for $15 an hour?
Yes, I would.
Well, there I stand corrected. See, now the problem is they don't pay $15 an hour.
All right.
They pay $3 an hour.
So no, I won't do it.
$3 or $4 an hour.
Yeah, so no, I won't do it.
So I don't.
But if it was 15, absolutely. But you just said it was $3.
I don't think you know how. Do you know how hard of work that is? But you said for 15, it's worth your effort, huh?
I mean,
I ain't picking no cotton.
I mean, it's true. At the end of the day, that's good money. So.
I ain't picking no cotton. That's how most black folks feel. I ain't picking.
I feel the same way too, though. But I mean, but
not for $15 an hour. But obviously they couldn't. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I should have said.
Let's not forget overtime too as well. Cha-ching.
Back-breaking work. He's talking about overtime. Well, that's how good black folks we got it nowadays in America. That we could say we would pick cotton for 15 because hey, and with overtime you might make some money off that. But that's some hard work, folks, and that's why a lot of folks don't take those jobs. So give us a call 313. I love to hear somebody say that. Hey, black folks that are listening tonight, would you work in the cotton field for $15 an hour? I'm thinking no. I'm saying no. Juwan said he would. Give us a call 313-209-9000. It's an interesting question, but I think that when you start talking economic nationalism, you have brought in some guys that got it confused. They just like nationalism, build a wall, don't allow anybody else in, which is somewhat ridiculous. America is a whole nation of immigrants. No one here except the Indians are from America. So this is the melting pot. And I just think that we have to have a good immigration system that will work for the American people, that's safe, keeps us safe, because the reality is now we're not worried about people coming in and taking jobs. We're worried about the wrong people getting in, doing harm to this country, people that are sick, that are coming in here, from these third world countries and even from South America and places. We need to have an immigration system that works. And doesn't encourage people. When it's so lax, when you had President Obama here, it was so lax that illegal immigrants came here by the boatload. They couldn't help it. They're like, hey, there's nothing going to happen. Now it's the exact opposite. Illegal immigrants know that this is not the place they want to come. And that's all due to President Trump. That has nothing to do with him. No one can take credit for that except President Trump. He is the one that set the tone. And it's made it where illegal immigrants don't even really want. It's down. The numbers are down, and I think that is something. We're gonna take that call. I'm gonna bring my boy in here, let him come in and chill with me for a minute. Come on here, buddy. All right, so You want to come in and sit down with me, son? Come on, you can sit over here with me, man. Keep me company for a little while. I got my son, Wayne Bradley III. He's in the building with me, chilling out, hanging out in the studio. Got lipstick on you. Get that off of you. We're gonna bring a couple folks on here. We're gonna ask a couple tough questions. I've got a couple strong brothers here that's gonna answer these questions. I got Abdullah. Abdullah, you're back on the line. Thanks for calling in. What do you think about that? Would you pick cotton, Abdullah, for $15 an hour?
I have picked cotton for 10 cents an hour. I'm 80 years older, but things was cheaper than what it is today. I plowed mules from sun up until sundown. See, I did all those things, and for $15 an hour, if I was a younger man.
Is that some hard work? Is that some hard work right there, Abdullah? Because I've never picked cotton. Is it?
It's not easy work, but you got hired a job that's harder than that. That's not working on the farm. I was raised up on the farm till I was about 20 years old, you know. And here's the thing of it. It depends on, $15 an hour, that's not a lot of money. See, like I'm making $1 a day then, but I can get a Pepsi for a nickel, all that, you know, like that. Things were cheaper.
Yeah, prices were definitely different at that time.
Right, that I know because I've gone through that and lived it, you know. And some people say, well, I wouldn't plow a mule, you know. I wouldn't plow a mule. I said, well, if I'm making some money, I got to survive. And I did that. Any type of work, I did a lot of different work, Dwayne. In fact, even after I came here in 1950, and I got a job. I worked for Chrysler for 30 years, and I also had a business. I saved up money and got a business called a restaurant they called Coffee and Cream. It was on Livernois. I was part owner in that. I got into the cab business. Always kept me 2 or 3 jobs, you know. And I did a lot of work, you know, just to survive, you know, because that's the way it is down there.
That's what we got to do that sometimes. There's no question about it.
They had to do a lot of things they didn't want to do. Even the women. My sisters could pick 200 pounds of cotton a day.
Woo!
But I could never pick over 100 pounds. And my dad used to get them. So you lazy boy, why you can't pick no 200 pounds? Your sister picked 200 pounds.
That's a lot of cotton.
Well, don't know about that. So he plow and do everything else. So if he just can't pick no cotton, I just couldn't pick no cotton. You know, 100 pounds the most I ever got, but picking all day.
Interesting.
Okay, thank you for taking my. I just had to get in on this.
I appreciate that because I wanted to see. I wanted to get some insight on it. Thanks, Abdullah, for calling back.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call.
All right. Hey, we're gonna go to Big Al after the break. You know, Big Al, we're gonna come to you after the break, man, because we got a couple minutes here, and I want to give you a few moments to share your feelings on a couple of these issues we've talked about today. Oh, we got 3 minutes left. Okay, all right, we'll go to him now. All right, Big Al, you're on the line.
What's going on, Wayne? Listen, man, I back in the day, man, I used to cut grass with a kid, you know. So, like I said, my father, when he was laid off, he did carpentry work. So,
right,
you know, basically, I was his labor. I would do anything he needed.
Yeah,
that's why I'm not scared. See, the thing is, a lot of guys not calling in a critique. You know, a lot of these guys think I ain't never did that kind of work before. But I don't mind getting my hands dirty, man. I worked at UPS for like 2 years while I was in school. I was a sky cap at the airport for about 5 years, man, when I was trying to finish up school because I had to go part-time. So it's not that I won't do the work, but don't try to play me like I'm a fool. You know what I mean?
Right.
See, I look at it like this, Wayne. I know you big on the tax break. Yeah, we maybe get money back, but that money going to be coming, and it's going to be going to something else because now they're going to change the thing around. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. If you know anything about the Reformation, then you know where I'm coming from. So,
right.
I mean, I understand the game, like I told you. Like I said, your one buddy called in. They were talking about Reaganomics and stuff. But you know, and I know, it still was high unemployment when Ronald Reagan was the president. Yeah, he changed a lot of different stuff, but also he created the savings and loan scandal, the Iran-Contra affair. So, I mean, I listen to these guys. They act like they try to act like, well, they're the only ones who know something. But I'm like this, man. Treat people fair, and I'm good with it. When it comes to all this party affiliation, I'll be honest, I'm not a card carrying member of none of these guys. And like I said again, Listen, Martin Luther King said a man is worthy of his labor. It's a book. I don't know if you're familiar with it. There's a lot of his work. It's a book called Men Are Worthy of Their Labor. I might be wrong with the title, but Dr. King talked about a man is worthy of his labor, man. The Bible talks about a man is worthy of his hire. So at the end of the day, man,
we just want a fair wage. We just want a fair wage out here.
But,
no doubt about that.
The thing is, though, but it's like this, Wayne. If you see, I know you're a big fan of Donald Trump, but I don't like people who play games.
Right.
I don't like people who use the buzzwords. I don't like people trying to downplay people and then up himself. You know and I know the only reason why he's in the position he is because of what his father did by becoming a mogul.
I disagree with that. Listen, man. Listen, there's a lot of rich kids. Listen, man. There's a lot of rich kids that get money and squander it. You see what I'm saying?
Opportunity.
Yeah, he had the opportunity, but he ran with that opportunity. He took the ball and ran with it.
But you can't tell me. Think about some of the people who out here who sold dope. If they knew another way, they would have did it another way.
No question.
But they thought that was the only means.
No question.
So my thing is don't try to downplay it like an opportunity didn't come your way. I was thankful that my parents made an opportunity for me.
Right.
My parents invested in me. If parents can't invest in their kids, it's about investment at the end of the day. And I'll leave it at that, Wayne.
Thanks, Big Al, man. I appreciate you calling in, brother. Appreciate it, man. Have a good evening, bro. Peace. All right, listen, you're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show. We got another half hour left on the show. Got my little man in the studio with me. I don't ever get to have my kids always in the studio with me on a Wednesday or Thursday night. Got my little man in here with me. We're rocking out to the last half an hour. We're going to come back to JJ after the break. We're going to finish up talking about this Bannon issue, a little bit of Jeff Sessions, and how good has Bannon been for Donald Trump's presidency. Looking forward to hearing from JJ on the other end of this break. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show, 9-10 a.m., your superstation.
Hop out the frog and leave. I put them bricks in the fender. My bitch, she walk around like she Kris Jenner. I used to break in the hammer. Then take out running like the game of Temple. It's simple, I play with a mental. Mama said she saw me on Jimmy Kimmel. Canada, cause I'm a money symbol. Walking with the rats, I'm looking crippled. On that, then I temple. For me to take pictures. Not for my label, I cripple.
When you're looking to hear the truth, we talk about it.
Why is it difficult to understand the rage of young black men who have been completely disenfranchised and then profiled? You don't assume that they're amazing and beautiful and smart and genius and gifted, and you should. But psychologically, you have been trained to think otherwise. And you've been doing it from pre-K. You've been suspending kindergartners for not being able to sit still. Then when they act out, when they wild out because of the way you're treating them, you got them on TV with police holding them to the ground and arresting them. What kind of insanity is this that the children are crying out and saying something ain't right here? And I'm just here to make an announcement, public service announcement. It's not going to come out the sky. You're going to have to decide to make a change. And you, everybody in this listening audience, is going to have to decide to cultivate some beauty.
910 AM Superstation, the only urban talk radio station in town. Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 910 AM Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
It is your best Saturday day party in town. You guys, bottles with models. You know what? You hear what kind of show is this? I hear champagne bottles popping in the back. Bobby's got it like
all over the place.
Oh, man.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 910 AM Superstation. It's the new show that everybody's talking about.
What you doing, man?
For all the wrong reasons.
You're that lady that does everything. He says, no, ma'am. Don't do everything.
Catch 910 AM Superstation Uncut, airing every Saturday night at 1 a.m. on WADL Detroit.
Oh, hell no!
You'll see the drama.
That's why you got all those cougars running around.
Ooh, shout out to my mama.
The comedy.
So I remember one time, a long time ago, a popular radio personality tried to fill on me, Coco. And,
the off-the-chain opinions.
Y'all need to get down with Mr. Dan Gilbert. You know Mr. Dan. I'll be like, man, take Dan Gilbert.
And hear the calls that make you say, bye, Felicia.
Appreciate you holding, man. How are you?
You know what, man? I like your show. Please don't put Sam Riddle on there, man.
Tune into the hottest new show in late nights. It's 9:10 a.m. Superstation Uncut, and it's only on WADL Detroit. It's the new show that everybody's talking about for all the wrong reasons. Catch 9:10 a.m. Superstation Uncut, airing every Saturday night at 1 a.m. on WADL Detroit.
There's always somebody who knows how to mess something up. We call them...
It's the wire hanger of the week.
Dun, 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 dun.
No more hangers.
You'll see the drama.
They should make a cartoon called Little Black Girl Marries Prince. And they could have her like in the hood with Shaquanda. Like, girl, I'm gonna be a princess one day.
The comedy.
Mike eats 2 tacos, looks at me and goes, you gonna eat all that? I said, come on, bro.
The off-the-chain opinions. And hear the calls that make you say, bye, Felicia. Tune into the hottest new show in late nights. It's 9:10 a.m. Superstation Uncut, and it's only on WADL Detroit. 9:10 a.m. Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
I absolutely love this radio station. This station gets me through the work week.
And we don't just show love to the callers. We see the comments and the posts, too.
I'm always on the go, so being able to watch all my favorite hosts on 910 a.m. mobile app is amazing.
So when you think of 910 a.m. Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media. 910 a.m. Superstation, the leader in facts.
Same time, you have an administration saying, or you have the media in general, other than you, saying that, Detroit's on a great comeback. Detroit is on a partial comeback, but there's a large segment of the population that's been left behind that this city has been and continue to be built on. And, as long as you're leaving people behind, like in the military, they say you shouldn't leave nobody behind. Well, we have been left behind. We have been forgotten, pushed over, kicked, and robbed, and we're being robbed every month. It's not over. The bankruptcy isn't over. It's still every day to us.
Voices.
But then you got the Democrats stepping in there, stepping in the way. Donna Brazile comes out and says Hillary took over the part of them giving money. She ran her operation in the DNC. So is the Democrats going to ever get it together?
910 a.m. Superstation. We are the future of radio. 910 a.m. Superstation. When you're looking to hear the truth, we talk about it.
I have never had one audience member when I asked the question, is there anyone in your life that has a alcohol and or drug problem? Is there anyone in your family? If not, raise your hand. I've had hands raised twice in a decade. And each time I say to that individual, listen, I'm not going to say that that's not true because I don't even know you. I said, but I shall say this. I suggest strongly you take a second look because grandma, grandpa, mama, daddy, your uncle, aunt, niece, nephew, distant cousins, at least a friend, has an alcohol and or drug problem.
910 a.m. Superstation. We are the future of radio.
I got my drink and my two-step, my drink and my two-step, got my drink and my two-step, my drink and my two-step. It's on, it's on, it's on, and I'm home. Get the Patron and tell them that it's on. I got my drink and my two-step.
Welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show. I am gonna work on my board operator. You guys will think there's a party going on in here right now. But it's all good. I gotta love my music here. We were talking about the ban in effect on Donald Trump's presidency. We were talking some good issues today. We're going to go back to JJ, who's been waiting. JJ, thanks for calling back in. JJ dropping that knowledge earlier with that Bible verse. Got to love that. Hey, JJ.
How you doing, Wayne?
I'm all right.
Hey, check this out. I wanted to talk about the immigration thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just so you know, I went to the Detroit public school system.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped out in 1972. okay, out of the 10th grade.
Okay.
The same school system that Dr. Ben Carson went to.
Okay.
He's a few years old. He's a few years older than I am. All right. But anyways, the immigration thing. I got a brother-in-law that's got a cement company. He probably does $3-4 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And about 10 years ago, he hired a couple Americans, one white and one black. They both went on workman's compensation. Okay. He's got about 25 Hispanics working for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he's got working for him. But check this out. They'll live 3-4 guys, and people don't think about this. 3-4 guys in an apartment, and these cats, you know, they make $40,000-$50,000 a year. You know, he pays them $20-$25 an hour because, you know, you got to bust cement. That's a hard job, swinging a sledgehammer.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
But these guys will work, and then they're off. You know, they only work 8 months out of the year, right?
Right.
They all own houses in Mexico. Okay, their families are in Mexico.
Right.
But they work here. They live in an apartment. So that money's going to Mexico, and I'm sure there's millions of Hispanics that do the same thing, that take our money, right?
Floods
they really
their economy.
Don't invest in it here.
Oh yeah,
right?
no.
And it goes back.
It goes right back there. It goes right back to Mexico.
Right.
Well, you know that's what Donald Trump started saying. He's going to tax that money at the exchange rate, and that'll build his wall. He could pay for his wall doing that alone. He wouldn't have to tax anybody else but the people that send money back and forth.
Just do it legally because you know, the Hispanic population, and I worked with them actually. I went from driving truck. I drove truck to 89, from 75 to 89 when I got out of the service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To 89, from 89 to 91, I started selling investments. I got my securities license. So I dropped out of the 10th grade, but I got my securities license.
All right.
And then I started at Rock Financial.
Okay.
I started selling money. I worked there for about a year. And then another Jewish fellow opened up a mortgage bank, and he asked me to be the general salesman and vice president.
Okay.
Okay. So I went from making like $30,000 a year to making $30,000 a month. And I'm not saying that bragging by any means, because God gives us all different talents.
Right.
Okay. And I never realized my talent was in money. You know what I mean? Bonds and stocks and trading money and calculating money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
We all have different talents. And Jesus actually, one thing I didn't like Jesus that he says is that the poor and sick you'll have amongst you always. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it's the church's responsibility. And I got some good ideas on that, but I just wanted to touch on that immigration thing. Just make it legal, man. Come on in. Because when you asked Juwan about picking cotton, I mean, that's all the pick fruits and vegetables are Hispanic, and we all eat that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, to me, you're right. It has to be a immigration process that works, because let's just be honest here. But this is what I've always said about this. The reason why we don't make it legal for everybody like that is because, JJ, these employers, these farms, they love paying these guys under the table. They don't want them to become American citizens and have, payroll. I mean, you would have to pay payroll taxes. You have to insure them. And so this has worked good for everyone that's involved to have this broken immigration system, unfortunately.
Right.
Big businesses like it.
You know what?
Poor folks, because, look, the poor guy that's making the $7, $8, and he might be making $5 an hour in cash. But guess what he knows? If I had to work minimum wage in California at $9 or $10 an hour, by the time the government's done taxing me, I still walk away with the same amount in cash. It's not that much different. And so it's worked. And this is the political joke that's always said. Republicans like cheap labor and Democrats like cheap votes. And that's why our immigration system still hasn't got fixed yet. It works out good for everyone in this broken system, unfortunately, except for the American worker.
I want to say one other thing. I hope Al's still listening, because I think he said the other night he didn't trust white people. But check this out. When I drove truck, there was 2 black guys that I worked with. They were my brothers, Teamsters.
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest brother, Frank, was ordained through the Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
About 45 years ago. All right. And these two black guys that I work with, they came to my wedding and they say, JJ, man, check out in the suburbs. I almost bought a house in the hood in 1980. In 1980, I got married. Just honest God truth, Wayne. These guys lived in Oak Park and Southfield.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's cheaper. And this two black guys in the 70s moved out of Detroit before this white guy did.
Right.
Okay, because I
can hear it in your voice, though, JJ. And just by the fact that I'm calling you JJ, I know you one of the cool white dudes. You're from the hood you were always good, you know. So you're speaking from a different perspective than a lot of these other cats are, JJ. I can hear it in your voice, brother.
All right, man. All right, babe. But anyways, yeah. So and I thank God because I moved out of the city. And in '87, my dad passed away. My mom still lived in the city. My brother, a couple of my brothers lived in the city over by St. John's Hospital. My sister-in-law was a nurse, one of them. And she sold the house for like $11,000. Or 6 Mile and Gratiot. I grew up 6 Mile and Gratiot. And the other night when you're talking, that one guy said, Sherwood over there, he got to be north of 7 Mile. The Joy Church, the VFW, I think when it warms up a little bit, I might take a ride down there because the Lord's telling me I got to do something. I just retired. I got to move around a little bit, get something going on. But, yeah, she sold $11,000, and it was Oriental people, cash.
Times have changed now. Woo! Times have changed.
But anyway.
Well, man.
All right, man.
Well, thanks, JJ, man, for calling in and just dropping. Like I said, I like getting everyone's experiences here on these issues. Appreciate it. All right, we got Walter checking back in real quick. He probably had to correct somebody. He ain't like something he heard. Walter. What's happening, Walter?
Hey man, thanks for the applause again, my man Juwan. By the way, I got to remind you that sound bite he plays with the bowling, it still sounds like Reverend David Alexander's demon board sitting on the toilet at Walmart. Okay, next, the board of demons. That's what I said. Immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Immigration. I'll get to Abdullah later in a few seconds. Immigration.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what. Immigration would not be. Here's the underlying truth. Immigration would not be an issue if the demon Democrat politicians didn't think it was a chance that didn't get them people over here and make them, or with them on amnesty and all that. That's basically what they want, including some Republicans like Lindsey Graham. They want amnesty. And it's all, I say no immigration. Let everybody stay in their own country, especially the Muslims. Ban every Muslim. Oh, don't shut me down now. Too dangerous. They're too dangerous. Taking too much of a chance with Muslims. All Muslims coming from all those wicked countries. That's right, I said it again. Immigration would not be an issue. Let me nail it. If those Democrats didn't think they were going to get those votes, because when you bring those people over here, including the Latinos, Muslims, with the exception of Chaldean Catholics, Middle Easterns, they are going to vote in large numbers for the Democrats, who's going to give them WIC, food stamps, social programs, and then the Democrats going to lie, because, by the way, the Democrats do not care about illegals and the Muslims and all people that immigrate. They don't care about them. They just look at using it. They want to use it as a tactic.
Right.
So they can
I agree.
A death nail in a Republican Party because they want to put a death nail in the Republican Party so they can stay in power forever. Because if you get all of, and by the way, you notice black people are slowly but surely giving up on the Democrat Party, including people that call the station.
Mm-hmm.
And the Democrats know that. Obama knew that. That's why he wanted all those Muslims over here to replace the Negroes and giving up on the Democratic Party. I know y'all don't like what I just said, but that is the underlying truth. And let me get back on over to Abdullah, the fooler. Now, I'm trying to be nice, Abdullah. I know you 100,000 years my senior. And by the way, my brain is not dead, Abdullah, because of what I said. See, I'm just trying to be nice to you.
Hey, man, I had your back, man. I had your back. Walter, you heard I wasn't letting them get to you like that, man. I had your back, man.
Yeah. Well, when he called this station, just talk over him because him and Al tries to talk over you, Wayne, and they better not be glad. They may be glad I'm not the talk show host. Of course, I had to hire.
Well, you know, I think the reason why I keep them calling, man, it's almost like a drug for some of them. They like to call in and get ugly with me. You know, that's part of the kick. I mean, if I cut them off in 1 minute like my man Nolan Finley does in the morning, then it's fun. They feel better. I think I make liberals feel better after they call in and just scream at me or overtalk me. And if that's the way I can help people make them feel better with that 2 minutes of my time, I'm more than it's a pleasure to be able to do that sometimes, as long as they don't talk too bad about it.
You're a good man. You're a good man. You're more patient than him. That's one of your qualities.
I'm sitting here as a Buddhist monk with I have to do that from time to time with these liberals, but it's what we got to do sometime, Walter. Thank you for calling back, man, and setting it straight.
But look, let me say this real quick. Or can I say this real quick, though?
Go ahead.
Abdullah, you got enough religion. He talks about all these religions he studied.
Mm-hmm.
But in his heart, he's a Islamic because he talks about Allah. Allah don't even exist.
Uh-oh.
So Abdullah, you need to truly get saved. The Bible says, "What do you have to take my covenant in your mouth, seeing that you are a partaker of evil?" So the Islam is a demonic religion, straight from the pits of hell, and that is his religion. He's trying to convert you to Islam, which means submission, holy war. And that's right. He's trying to do it, and I know you see right to him because it's a Christ.
Well, you know who my pastor is, Walter. You know my pastor, Ken Hampton. I've been raised right. Ain't nobody gonna be able to pull me from the Lord, but that's all good, man. Thank you, Walter.
Jeff Sessions.
Now Jeff Sessions. See, we gotta pray. You need to pray for Jeff Sessions, Walter. We don't agree on that one. He's making it hard out here.
Hey, Wayne.
Yes, sir.
This is what he needs to do. Let me sum it up with Jeff Sessions.
Go ahead.
Let me rush this real quick. What he needs to do is put Hillary in prison, Uma Abedin, that lady that was over in the Justice Department that went on that plane with Bill Clinton so she can affect the election, the outcome of the election. You know her name.
Yep.
Meeting with Bill Clinton so they can get Hillary in office. Comey needs to be in there. And guess who? Last but not least, Ali Omar Barack Insane Osama Obama. Throw him in jail.
Get out of here, Walter. You just a troublemaker, man. You just a troublemaker. Get on out of here. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Walter. Oh, man. Walter, all right, if I got to end my thank you, Walter. Walter, man, makes my day, man. I can't even front. All right, we got to go to Ray real quick. Ray, thank you for calling in.
Hello?
Ray, thank you. You're on the line.
No, thank you. That guy is so cool. I'm just laughing, but he's so right.
Oh yeah, he's so right that it makes you cringe sometimes. But you're right.
No, it doesn't make me cringe. It makes me smile. I love that guy. He's so right. Why did I call? I'm trying to get my thoughts together because it's hard for me sometimes. But this is why I call. People vote Republican, whether they're Republican or not, because their philosophy is they love this country. This is what I believe. And it doesn't mean they're Republican, black, white. Black people vote Republican. A lot of people vote Republican because they love this country and they don't want the government telling us what to do. Now, I don't want to say this wrong, but I'm going to try to say it right.
Okay.
People vote Democrat. A lot of poor people, black, white, whoever, they do that because the government offers them things for nothing. And I don't know if I said that right, but
okay. No, they think that they're getting something for nothing, and
thank you.
And that's and at the same time, a lot of times they don't recognize that waiting for the government to do anything for you is a losing proposition. I
think it's a form of slavery. I think it's a form of slavery.
Yeah, I mean, and we can take it.
You have to go to that building where the government tells you to, and fill out, and they don't treat you good, as far as, I don't know, because I've worked.
I'm going to tell you, Ray, it's gotten to the point now, even with student loans, is a form of the slavery. They've inflated the cost of college so much that people go into this massive amount of debt that they'll never be able to pay off. They go in $100,000
I don't know
of
why
debt.
it's so expensive.
Because of the federal dollars that are now infused into it. Anything that you put federal dollars into.
Money grab.
Yeah, anything you put federal dollars into, the price goes up exponentially. And that's what's happened with education.
But this is what I see on the streets of Detroit. I'm in the trades, and for the last 10 years, this is what makes me feel good. And I'm gonna throw it out. I see black people, young guys, starting their own businesses. And when they started out, I'm telling you, I'm seeing it, and every year it's getting better. And these guys are doing the good jobs, and they're getting better at it. And I'm not saying I'm any better, but I've been doing this for what I do is for 40 years. And I've never seen so many young black guys getting their act together and doing this. And I'm just hoping that they can show people around them that you can't rely on the government. Because if you do, you're going to be enslaved, because you have to do what the government tells you to do, or you won't get you won't get food stamps, you won't get whatever the government offers. They'll offer you the moon, but it's really not.
Anytime, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. I'm gonna wrap it up with this real quick, Ray. Whenever the government comes to your door and says they want to help you, close the door on them. You can't trust them. Thanks for calling in, Ray. We got Big Al. We're gonna wrap this up with Big Al. Thanks
man, that last guy, man. Didn't FDR create the safety net, man? Listen, man, I'm an educated brother. When I hear white people talk like that, they really show how they really not that educated. Walter is what he is, man. JJ, he a cool guy, but the thing is, though, Wayne, you know, man, I try not to talk about my background a lot, but you met me in person, so you kind of got a feel of who I am.
Right.
I don't try to be disrespectful, but the last caller, man, he don't. You know what, man? The biggest part about Michigan is, especially southeastern, southwestern, south part of Michigan, Wayne, Macomb, Oakland, is real segregated. So a lot of people don't live with a lot of different other nationalities. They see them from TV or they see them coming and going, but they really don't live in a close-knit community. They may not know the person, you know what I mean by what I'm trying to come at. Yeah. So I'm lost for words right now. But my thing is it's crazy how people want to judge from the outside, but how many people can they really say they actually know? Now, on this part, I want JJ to realize my civics teacher in high school helped me get my college scholarship for track. His name was Mr. Wismer. He worked in the legislature in Minnesota for about 5 years and moved back to the Detroit area because his wife got a great job. He was a white gentleman. So when people think I don't like white people, no, I love white people. I just don't like when people play games. You know, it's funny, man. It's funny how people assume because I say a certain thing that I don't like white people. That's why I'm really.
Well, you did. You got to remember, Al. You did say you don't trust white people.
I don't listen. I don't really trust white people because white people never have been around me like that. Now, when it comes to my teacher, Mr. Wismer, when it comes to some of the nuns that I had when I was in my parochial school, they were different. I'm talking about the people who don't live in my neighborhood who prejudge because they see something. Right. That's what I'm trying to say, Wayne. Now, listen, Wayne, I'm going to leave this before I get off.
Go ahead.
I went to St. Gerard. You went to Jesu.
Right.
I went to St. Martin de Porres. You went to Mumford.
Right.
You said you went to Michigan State. I went to Mary Grove College and finished up my degree. What I'm saying is I've always been around a lot of white people. I went to school, Crowd College, and got my associate degree. So with that being said, man, when I hear this stuff, they say I've been around a lot of white people. White people can act funny, man, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying all white people like that, but a lot of people I have come in contact have that kind of funny, my brother, and I'll leave it at that. You be blessed, brother.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Thanks, Big Al. Come on in. I'm about to get off the air here. I'm leaving off the air. I appreciate all my callers that's coming in. My son is walking in here. I guess I'll let him say goodnight, too. Say goodnight, son.
Good night.
All right. That's my young future DJ right there, young Wayne Bradley III. Sending us a special shout-out on the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m. Superstation. I'll be back tomorrow night. You guys have a blessed evening.
If you want to hear the voices of Detroit, look no further than 910 AM Superstation.
I'm so excited about Jordan Peele. I hear that Jordan Peele and Spike Lee supposed to be coming together for a new movie.
One of the big things, Rolling Stone has confirmed that John David Washington, the son of Denzel Washington, is currently in talks to play the role of Ron Stallworth, a Colorado detective who managed to become the head of his local KKK chapter by pretending to be a white supremacist by way of phone and written correspondence. Sounds like one of those Dave Chappelle things, you know?
Yeah, it does.
You have your times of up, you have your times of down. But if you can weather the storm of the down, your up will be so much greater, and the level of up will be more than you achieved before your fall.